we have an opportunity now to make different decisions.
Let's then start with the subject you wrote a book about, both going over the science and then how you can make changes, is sleep. As you pointed out, in the past, it was once seen as almost a badge of honor if you just didn't get much sleep but just kept going, and fatigue was a sign that you were working hard and achieving success. And you make the point that you actually perform better when you get 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep. So how do we turn off at the end of the day? How do we get that smartphone out of our lives so we can sleep?
Right now, with COVID, with the political turmoil, people have a particularly hard time sleeping. In fact, even a new term has been coined, coronasomnia. And we have a lot of microsteps to deal with that. And the most important microstep is to pick a time at the end of the day when you declare an end to your working day. That means an end to answering emails and texts, an end to scrolling through social media or even Forbes.com for news, and declare it an end. And I say declare it an end because the truth, Steve, is there is no end. Like each one of us could spend the entire night handling things, or doom scrolling as it's called, or binging on Netflix. There are endless distractions. And as Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist philosopher, said, it has never been easier to run away from ourselves. And it takes a lot of planning to make sure you don't run away from yourself. And that starts with a micro step of turning off your phone and charging it outside your bedroom.
So, of course, easier said than done. And talk about the playful bed you had where you'd get in the habit, you put your kids to bed, and you put the phone to bed as well.
Okay, Steve, I'm going to send you one. It's a little bed that's really a charging station. It can charge up to 10 phones and iPads. So it's great for the whole family to practice phone hygiene. And it has a little blankie, and you put the phone under the blankie, and it charges during the night while you are recharging. And it comes in light wood and mahogany. I think probably mahogany will go better with your furniture. But it's actually a ritual that that can support a new habit. As you said, it's easier said than done. So we wanted to provide some support to make it happen.
And when people say that, well, I'm a leader, I get phone calls in the middle of the night about some crisis, I need the phone by my bedside, you recommend something that I'm holding in my hand, a flip phone.
Yes, I love that. Great. So you have that by your bed at night if something happens? Amazing. So exactly. I just did a webinar with the 35 leaders who run Accenture. And they are all over the world. We did that closer to the beginning of COVID, and they were all up all night handling things. And that's when I said, you are now expected to operate at your best as a leader. Maintenance is no longer enough. You need to be your most creative and your most innovative, and nothing kills innovation and creativity faster than exhaustion. You know, when we're exhausted, we can still be transactional, we can still do mundane things. But leadership right now is not about mundane things. And you know, the one book I have on my nightstand is Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. And I know you've studied and written a lot about ancient philosophers, Steve. So I'm sure you know that this was a great example of a Stoic philosopher who was also an emperor for 19 years, during which he had to deal with a pandemic, the plague. He had to deal with invasions, betrayals, everything you can imagine. And yet he wrote this book, which is truly a leadership manual about how to be in the eye of the hurricane and remain unflappable no matter what.
Well, in terms of sleep, you talk about the power of naps in terms of recharging ourselves, and talking about big jobs. Winston Churchill, saving civilization in World War II, took a nap.
Exactly. In fact, coined the term power nap.
So now you get to bed, you wake up in the middle of the night. What are some of the things you suggest to deal with these wake-ups and not let it ruin your night?
Well, first of all, people wake up in the middle of the night because they have not had a transition to sleep. So their brain wakes them up. So the key, first of all, to preventing waking up in the night, during the night, is having a transition to sleep. My transition is about 30 minutes, but start with 5. And I can tell you my transition, everybody has to design theirs. My transition includes a hot shower or a hot bath, which is not for cleanliness. It's almost like a ritual of washing away the day. Because at the end of the day, we still have a lot of incompletions, problems that haven't been solved, projects that are not done. So we need to put all that away and be able to surrender to sleep. And then I like to read things that have nothing to do with work, history, biographies, things that give me
and you do it with a hard book, not with this.
I do it with a hard book, no iPads, nothing. There's nothing. I love all the hard books behind you. There's nothing like a hard book. I love underlining. And then, if you begin to get drowsy, you can just let it drop on the floor and it doesn't crack. And then if you still wake up in the middle of the night, which happens to all of us, even with the best transitions, the key is to not be upset about it, but to use that time to meditate. I like to use that time to meditate. And I remember reading that the Dalai Lama wakes up at 3 in the morning to meditate. So I feel, hey, if the Dalai Lama thinks that's the best time to meditate, I can do that.
If you could just do a little more on the importance of gratitude.
Taking this 60-second buffer to take some deep breaths, or to remember what you're grateful for, or to simply set your intention for the day, so you're not at the mercy of what's incoming, is really key.
And you make the point that if you go right to the phone, that is dictating your day, not the other way around.
Yes. So basically, we become completely reactive to what the world wants of us instead of what we want to create, what we want to build. And this is more important than ever during these times that we are going through right now. In fact, Steve, this is really the one silver lining of this time, which is that we were already dealing pre-pandemic with skyrocketing chronic diseases, a mental health crisis, an epidemic of burnout, growing income inequalities. And we have an opportunity now to make different decisions and to make better decisions at every level of our society, and not just go back to the old normal, but create a better world.